Well, hello everybody. This is going to be the first lesson of the first unit. Variables. Variables, while very simple, have and having no real true amount of substance, it is very important to truly understand how they work, because if you don't understand how a variable works, it's going to make programming a lot more difficult and in some cases actually make it impossible. So let's get into our game real quick. Nothing. This was just what we have. If you remember last time, I went over the entirety of everything in the UI. Now it's time to learn start amount of programming. I don't know what this is. So we can start by going into the workspace or server script storage, but or services. And as you remember, we actually did declare a variable in the last video, local I equals 10. That probably doesn't help at all though, if you don't understand it all. So we're gonna just create a new script right now. We're gonna keep it disabled since it's not gonna do anything. And we're gonna learn the basics of scripting. A variable in programming languages typically have variable types. Like in Java, you have the int, you have uh you have double, you have string, and you have uh there's that's the reference type, not a primitive type. Well, so let's not include it. Primitive types in Java, you have int, double, char, and boolean. All of these are primitive types in Javas, and that means they can only have one class assigned to them. Int has an integer assigned to them. Double has a number with a decimal assigned to them, typically only up to like one decimal point or two. Char has one character, which literally means like one letter assigned to them. And Boolean is just true or false. And Boolean is actually in Roblox. It's just a weird way because it's either true or false. So, and there's the reference types in Java like string, integer, which integer is int, except it's ported as a reference type, so it's a wrapper class. Double with a capital D. We have array, which actually just means this. Array list, which is another reference type, which is an array that can vary on size, which is just built into Roblox. So those are what they do. And what's the point of them? Variables are important because if you don't have a variable, you can't like save data to a specific point. Putting a variable gives you like a box, and what you put inside of that box is saved no matter what, and it can be used, and you can take that thing out of the box or take the data out of the box to use it, and then you immediately put it back into the box, or you can change what's in that box. In Roblox, in Lua specifically, local declares every single type. This is like saying every reference type I just went over, every primitive type, it's that. So the format and the syntax for this is really simple. Local, now give it a name, we'll just say int1. Also, this is the more correct way to type that. Int1 equals, and then we'll just put it like 1. And that's it. Now, if you're used to programming Java, you would put it that there, but no. Now in Lua, a lot of Lua is either dots or spaces. There's no semicolons to declare the end of a line, because the end of a line is when you go to the next line. Java doesn't do it like that, because in Java, sometimes you have lines that go really long, so you want to just go down without ending a line. So there's an integer. Now we can declare a string. Integer local string 1 equals hello. Now if you want a boolean, local boolean 1 equals true. Naturally, if you don't do anything with this, if you like leave it at certain stuff, it just won't, it's still open to any type just because of that. A literally means anything. Right now, string 1 is a string, and int 1 is a number, which means it can also be. Uh, Roblox doesn't differentiate between integers and doubles like how Java does or other programming languages will. It just declares it a number, which means it can have decimal place at any point. And Boolean right now is true. So let's put it says true, and it says Boolean 1 is a Boolean. Local char 1. I believe this is possible. It's just when you put. Okay, well, it doesn't work like that, but there is a difference between that one. There is really only 3 types of variables. Getting to arrays is something we will do later. So we have 3 variables. What can we do with them? Variables can have a lot of things. This is how you declare variables. Now, using variables, that's a whole different story. And I'll save that for later. But just to put this simply, you have to put an equal after that. So you have the format is local, which creates a variable. Then you put its name. You usually want its name to be camel case so that you can differentiate between words, which means the first one doesn't need to actually start as a capital letter. And you also want to make it so that it's actually clear what the variable is. You just don't name it like, because if you name it something like that, you're not going to remember what it does. So 1, and then hello, and then true. It's a lot of ways to declare variables. Those are simple variables. Those usually are just areas of scripts. But there's other things you could do. Another variable you can say is like an instance, which is like an object. I guess we'll name instance 1 equals game dot, let's just say workspace, hold on, instance dot new explosion, something like that. That creates a new explosion. Anyways, we'll get to declaring variables in the next lesson.